Good evening, welcome to the October 13th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If you'd all rise for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, and thank you for coming or tuning in. Apologize for the late start. We had a couple of executive sessions that we were dealing with prior to the meeting. One announcement that I'll make is those of you that took part in the photo days and have photos that were taken over the weekend, please submit those to photoday@waterboro-me.gov, or you can go to the town's website and see the link so that you can send those photos in. They're all being consolidated, and there'll be a bunch of sorting and filing and those kind of things to determine what we've got. So, any other announcements by the board? Just I guess an add-on that the lake is draining, but not to the rate that I think we anticipated, but it's catching up now. So it should be down here in the next few weeks. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? We have no appointments tonight. Hearing a delegation. Anybody here that is not on the agenda that would like to speak? Sensing none, we'll move on. Correspondence, there's a list of stuff here. Treasurer's report, list of vacancies for town boards, 12 town group meeting agendas, agenda and surveys, new planning board bylaws, copy of the planning board findings of fact for the Abbott investments, also the finding of fact for Lacey, Wakefield, also the finding of fact for the town of Waterboro salt and sand shed, Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission newsletter, Eco Maine recycling reports, and motor vehicle agent September 2015 report. Reports of staff and initiatives. Selectmen's report. Wayne, anything?
Nothing other than we went
To
to the lawyers'
yeah.
convention there 2 weeks ago.
Was it as exciting as it always is?
There was a few decent points. It's about the same as quite a bunch of legislation changed, but I can't see a lot that's going to bother.
Get an extra packet when you were there?
No, I didn't.
Christina, did you attend that?
Yes,
I
and
brought-
I do have, Gordon has your copy,
Oh, okay, thank you.
but I have a copy if you want it.
Right up with watching paint dry is where that kind of fits in with a lot of that stuff. I guess you gotta be a legal person to really get excited about some of that. Anyway, Tammy Jo?
Yep. As I do every October, I wear purple to all of the public meetings because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And in my capacity at my job, I do a lot of work with domestic violence victims. And I think people don't recognize sometimes how much of a crisis domestic violence is in our country. Right now, domestic violence is impacting over 12 million people a year within our country. That works out to be 24 people, men and women, being assaulted by their intimate partners every minute in this country. Every day, we lose 3 women and 1 man at the hands of their partner that they're killed. Last year in Maine, we had 20 homicides. 13 of those were domestic violence related, and of those 13 victims, 7 of them were children under the age of 13. Just last month, a study came out that ranked Maine 9th in the nation in terms of victims, women being at risk of being killed in domestic violence situations. The year before that, we were 20th. So we have unfortunately seen a very sharp increase and the amount of women that are being killed in our state at the hands of intimate partners. To bring that to a more local level, Caring Unlimited, which is the local advocacy group that works with domestic violence victims, in just the past 9 months has worked with 44 Waterboro residents who are victims of domestic violences and needed to seek services. They've provided emergency shelter, counseling, legal assistance, support services. That's 44 of our residents in 9 months that have been impacted by domestic violence. So during the month of October, you'll see me at all public meetings wearing purple, and that's to signify my support of domestic violence issues, the victims, and everything that they're going through. Certainly, if you're a victim and you don't feel that it's safe for you to contact the police, contact Caring Unlimited. They're an excellent resource that not only offers emergency shelter, but also support services, legal assistance to help get protection from abuse orders, as well as counseling and whatnot. And if you're a family member or a friend of somebody that you know is in a violent situation, please don't just sit and be quiet. Speak up. Contact Caring Unlimited. They can give you some information on how you can help victims of violence. And so for the month of October, I'll be wearing purple because domestic violence is not acceptable and domestic violence is preventable. Second, last night attended the 12-town group meeting. We only had 4 communities represented last night, so it was a small group. We talked about the broadband issues that we were talking about earlier this summer. The survey is being updated, and we'll have that hopefully ready. I see Dave, because he was there last night. He's going to be doing the survey, tweaking the survey. But we'll be able to hopefully have that available so that we can put it out at the polls with some information about what exactly broadband is, the high-speed broadband, dark fiber. And then we'll start gathering some information and have everything in time for the January 12-town group meeting. At the November 12-town group meeting, we are going to have a guest speaker talking to us about solar energy. So that should be really interesting for anybody. That's it.
Okay. I am all set. Gary, you wanna?
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let's talk about staff changes very briefly here. Our new front office employee, Georgia Hall, started last week. And she's 2 days a week once she gets settled in here in terms of our routine. Our new deputy clerk is Christine Torno, and she will be here 4 days a week full-time. She started today, so if you haven't introduced yourself, please go out and do that on your way out. We welcome both these ladies to our team here. Talking about paving, the Deering Ridge Road paving has been completed for this year. There's a few minor items left to do in terms of ditch work and cleanup on the edge of the road. Concerning our audit, there'll be some field work. I expect to see Chris probably not this week, but I would think next week he'll be here for some more follow-up field work for audit preparation. I do not have an exact date for him. I've been on the phone most of today, trying to talk to roofing contractors and move that process along. We're asking for roofing bids for this building, just this newer portion of the building, to be submitted by noon on October 27th. And we're hoping that bids will be competitive and we'll get settled several. It's not a good time of year to look for roofers that have time, but we'll keep plugging away to see if we can get this done next month. Design review standards, the selectmen need to be kept informed on what the planning board is doing with that. E.J. Feldman has been making some progress in that regard. The planning board has come up with a few things where they think they want those to be standards that are enforced rigidly. And most other aspects of what they're thinking about would be guidelines that are not enforceable but that are suggestions. Certainly the public and the Board of Selectmen will be apprised of what those are before we get close to any adoption. At the MMA convention, I went to a broadband seminar that dealt with a variety of people there. It was interesting to see the town of Sanford starting its own broadband or dark fiber network along with the town of Orono. It'd be interesting to see and follow how that works, or doesn't work, if you will. We have a positive test for West Nile virus in Waterboro, and there is a pool in town somewhere here whereby the mosquitoes tested positive for that. West Nile virus is in all 50 states, so it's no great shock, but certainly we want people to beware that, especially on a day like yesterday, you should be wearing bug dopes so you don't get a mosquito bite. A matter of housekeeping, a pretty minor item, but we need to talk internally here about who's going to mow the grass along Route 202 in South Waterboro. That median strip that the DOT planted this year, 4 or 5 feet right next to the road, looks pretty awful right now. I'm going to have the rec guys get down there and clean it up and do it, but you could be considering whether or not you want to have an ordinance that requires the landowners abutting that to be required to mow it, or whether the town would do it.
I think over half of them are mowing it now, and they've always had mowed it, we've never had to do it
Yeah.
as far as a town, so
Well,
I don't know that we wanna get started in it. Once you get started, then you're opening up a can of worms.
yeah, but that's for another day, and that's it for me. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I guess for the other day is, why is our rec staff, still called rec staff, why isn't it part of public works, but that's another discussion.
Yeah.
The only other thing is that, who comes up with these names, dark fiber network?
It's kind of like a big water pipe going by your property. That's what the dark fiber is. It's
Okay.
ability, it's out there to be used if you want to have somebody else provide it to you.
Somebody must stay up at night thinking about these names. Okay, anything else to report, staff initiatives? Clint, anything? Glenn, anything? Just, did you hear I asked for?
Thank you.
New business, discuss vote on consent agreement. Are we ready, not ready?
We are ready.
Okay. So, what's your, why don't you brief us?
Okay. The Bouchers are both here, Travis and Dennis, who own the property, building a house on Betty Lane. They attempted to set their own setbacks and were incorrect in setting those setbacks, so they're encroaching. I don't have the mortgage survey in front of me, sorry. I'll have the Bouchers step up and explain
Okay.
what they are, but you guys should have the consent agreement in front of you. Make a note that I recommend $700 as a penalty. Town council was $400, and then we have the Waterboro's own administrative cost involved in that. So that's my recommendation.
Okay,
And I'll let the Bouchers explain what happened.
gentlemen, step right up.
Hello,
You don't have to fight over who speaks.
I'll speak. Okay, when we measure the property, it's 100 by 200 lot. The front of the house, well, the property measures 100 feet and the back's 101 feet. And then, because the lot goes off the road is kind of angled going through the lot. So when we pulled off of Gary Sheldon's side, the left side, because we had a dry line, then we pulled our 35-foot setback off of that.
36 feet to the foundation.
So then when you straighten it out, you only have, I believe, 97 feet. Because it's not, Bruckler, when it was surveyed, it's not
It says
correct.
100 feet, but when you pull straight across, you're losing a foot something.
Foot 7 inches.
So, you didn't have a surveyor,
No,
No.
set the pins or anything?
no.
You just went by the pins of the septic?
We went by the pins and the contour of the lot.
Right.
So we are violating the setback towards lot 6
Yeah, that's
Wow.
my property.
by
A foot 7 inches.
a foot and 7 inches?
So 6 is your property?
Yes.
And the dwelling that's being constructed is for
Right.
you or for?
For my house.
So is there any way to reconfigure, is there enough room on your lot, whereas your family, that you could alter the lot lines to give you what you need for setbacks?
My garage, basically in '06, you guys granted me 10 feet on sideline setback on my garage.
we'll
So
make
I'm
that-
already there with my garage.
So you had an issue with your property as well?
No,
No, I didn't.
You
I-
got a variance.
You got a variance for his garage.
For my second building on my property
Okay.
in '06.
And the garage is hooked to the house,
No,
no?
no, separate.
And the structure's already built?
Right.
Yes.
And it didn't take Middle Branch too long to figure out that there was a problem, right? It's
No.
funny how those surveyors are, huh?
Yeah.
One would suggest maybe you should have had the surveyor before you started, right? So,
Right.
yeah, the dilemma, I think, and I think Tammy is kind of poking at that a little bit. Once we do this, it lives with the deed forever. So it's not like, you know, yeah, you guys are nice guys, and, you know, we're just trying to accommodate you building a house. You know, you could sell the house in a week, and, you know, ultimately, if there's no consent decree, or if there is, it will travel with the thing. So it's a violation of town zoning forever, once we accept the consent order. And given that there wasn't a third party involved here putting stakes out to where you're gonna put the thing, I mean, it really is on you, right?
Right.
And I think another argument of why a survey should be done before we start pouring foundations, right?
Yeah, if I could speak to that a little bit, Mr. Chair. I'm usually reluctant to require property owners to do that survey, even though our ordinance allows me to. So this was a lesson for me to require from here on in. You know, it's an expense, but this is also an expense.
Yeah.
So the ordinance was in place for a reason, and the town should comply by it.
Any questions? Blaine, Amy Jo?
No.
What's your pleasure? Or do we have a pleasure?
Make a motion that we agree to the consent agreement for the 700 was the cost that the attorney recommended plus administrative costs involved.
Correct.
So I would make the motion for the $700 fine.
Do I have a second?
Per foot, 7 inches. You're gonna put a,
Whatever's in the consent agreement.
Okay.
I'll
Is that a-
second that.
Is that a second? Any further discussion? Sensing none, all those in favor? Opposed? 3-0, you're on your way once you cut a check to the town of Waterboro.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And a fair warning, don't come back with another one, right? Because
Yeah.
somebody will be moving a house.
They have to sign it, yes.
All right, item B under new business. We have had a rash of school board member resignations. When I say a rash, 2 out of the 3, I think, have now resigned. So we need to act on those resignations.
I'm still having an issue wrapping my brain around Mary Ross's.
So am I.
I think the bottom line, if you read the nepotism policy, which evidently complies with state law, and I had the same issue because it said that any family member that had influence over
Right.
budgets, but once you read that and you say, well, somebody hires in a part-time job, you wouldn't think that would, but if you read the next sentence, it says, in absolutely no exception if it's a spouse.
It's that second sentence that
So the second sentence really is.
There's no crack in the
drives it home.
door.
There's no, doesn't matter whether you're a part-time bus driver, custodian, whatever. If you
What
are a
happened?
spouse of a school board member,
What happens if I don't,
The school board member.
what happens if we don't accept it?
Well, I think given the policy that will, I mean, we have to accept it if we're gonna move on and appoint somebody. And I think that that's the requirement at this point. We have a resignation, and I don't know how you tell somebody, no, you can't resign.
What if we accept it as of January 1st?
Well, her
Term runs out in June.
term runs out in June, and I would think the alternative would be that the spouse would no longer have employment, even though it was part-time. I guess that's the other ramification.
I don't wanna have somebody lose their livelihood either over it.
Bad time, I mean,
Huh?
she's making more on the school
Well-
board than,
I guess that's not for, I mean, ultimately, it's a decision that, you know, there is the requirement in it, and, you know, Gary and I have been arguing about this for a week, and then
Yeah.
finally, I read the last statement, which is very specific. And it does say that if you are a spouse, or your spouse has that job, you cannot serve on the school board.
I would make a motion that we accept the resignations of Rebecca Roy and Mary Ross with deep regret, particularly with Mary and the contributions that she's made to the school board as a long-term member. And she was always, you know, willing to come into the selectmen's meeting and speak to us, and I think it's unfortunate because I think that that's a real loss.
can we make two separate motions?
All right, so I'll make the motion first for accepting Rebecca Roy's with deep regret.
I'll second that.
Second,
Just Rebecca's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
been moved and seconded to accept Rebecca Roy's resignation, deep regrets. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
And same motion with Mary Ross.
Okay. Move to accept Mary Ross's resignation with deep regrets. Do I have a second? I can't make the second, but, and I just don't see that we gain anything by just delaying it, because all we're gonna do is potentially delay employment, so.
The chair can't second?
Why not?
I
Well,
don't believe that's in
a
the
precedent
charter.
would say that I haven't, but I guess I can second it, so I'll second it. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 2-1. All right. Filling the school board vacancies. The charter is pretty clear that we have the ability to fill until the next election. So, which would mean that we have two positions, and both would expire in June of this year, and we will, on the ballot, have a 3-year term and a 2-year term, correct? Roy just went on, right?
Yes, she just started.
Right, so she just started a 3-year term.
Yeah. My recommendation is the internet, town website, the Waterboro Reporter, and the Smart Shopper, and any application be submitted to us, or actually interview them for the next, in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I guess what we're looking at is if we have anyone that is
It'll be out
interested,
next week, so if anybody's interested, and
say by Friday of next week, which is 23rd,
that would give
That
us,
they would-
they'll see it in the newspaper next week.
and we can have an early session here before our meeting to at least determine who's gonna be interviewed, right?
I would prefer that we run it for 2 weeks and then
Okay.
have a special meeting on November 3rd when we've got nothing else on
Okay.
the agenda.
We can do that.
That way, I think it gives people
I don't
more
have
of
a
an
problem with
option.
that, I just wanna get it done
Yeah,
before.
I think 2
Dragging
weeks
it on
is
a
a
month
better.
is gonna take
Yeah.
too long, and then we're gonna lose.
So interested applications would be received
By
for
the
the
30th.
30th. And the board will have a special meeting on the 3rd, which is only 4 days later, to determine who would be interviewed. The
Christina's
interviews
got a
would be
question.
done, and I guess we could appoint on the 10th, right?
Do you want to use the regular board and committee application? Do you want them to submit a resume with that?
I would think we'd want a resume.
Board and committee application and a resume?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too hep on the committee resignation, the committee application is fine, it gives us some specifics, but
Yeah.
really, I think it's a,
Not
you
much.
know, it should be a letter.
Resume,
Should be a letter,
interest
it should be a
and
letter of
resume.
interest and a resume.
Yeah, I wouldn't even do the committee
Okay,
application.
so then on November 3rd, you would meet with those people?
No, November
Before.
3rd, I think we have to determine who it is we're gonna interview. I mean, if we get 20 people, which I doubt, but if we get 20, we're not gonna meet with them all on the 3rd, right? And I don't know how you close it on the 30th and then 2 days later, 2 business days later, have them here. So I think the 3rd, we need to use as a kind of these are the people we're gonna interview, do the interviewing in the next week, and then appoint on the 10th,
Okay,
right?
hmm,
That gives us,
so your special meeting is just to look at the applicants?
yeah, I think that's all we really have the ability to do, unless
And what
unless
if
we
we were
shut
to
it off
say,
earlier.
well, if we went through the applications on the 3rd, and then let's say if we did our interviews on the 5th, so that Christina could call and set them up on the 4th, and just make it as part of the notice that applications will be due by the 30th, and those that we would be interested in interviewing would get a call on the 4th.
Right. And the board intends to select on the 10th.
Without, I haven't heard interviewing applicants.
No, we would have to do the interviews, we'd set it up of who's gonna get interviewed.
On the
We
10th
would have to
before the
do-
meeting.
No, we would have to do, on the 3rd, we'll determine who's gonna be interviewed.
Right.
We would send notices out on the 4th, and we would interview, I would think, on the 5th.
Yep.
Which would be a Thursday night,
I think there is some interest out there.
seems to be.
Christina, do we have 2 people now that we've known are interested?
Just the one I've heard from
Okay.
twice, but
I've
same
heard
person.
Yeah, I'll give you a name too, because I think what we need to do is, if nothing more, the people that have said they're interested, if we don't see something from them,
Hmm.
you know.
Oh, yeah, because we got an email from one, and then there's one that's coming.
Right.
I said at Freiburg Fair, there was 3 different people that questioned it, sitting up there, so.
Well, the interesting thing is that the letter that came said positions, right? And I'm going, well, I know of one, but unfortunately, there was a second
There
one.
is a head of our email.
Okay? We okay with that?
Yep.
Christina, you all set with that? All right, item D, discuss vote on the poverty abatement application from executive session A. What is your pleasure?
I would make a motion to deny executive session A based on the fact that I don't believe a hardship was shown.
Seconded.
Been moved and seconded to deny the hardship abatement from executive session, tonight's executive session A. Any further discussion? All those in favor, opposed? And that's a 3-0 vote, and we need to fill out that paperwork before we leave tonight.
May I interrupt you?
yeah.
'Cause I didn't write that down. Christina, do you have what Tammy Jo just said for documentation?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Item E, discuss vote on poverty abatement application for executive session B.
I would make a motion to deny the application from executive session B based on the fact that we do not have enough information to make a proper decision, and we would be willing to entertain the application again in the future with more information provided.
Second. Any discussion? You got all of that written down there?
No, but I'm gonna have to watch the tape on that one.
All those in favor? Opposed? 3-0. Discuss a vote on committee appointment.
I would make a motion to appoint Scott Davis to the Waterboro Road Review Committee.
And do I have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, and you'll get a hold of Scott. Discuss a vote to approve the state games of chance license for the M.R.S.A Lions Club for Vino and sealed tickets.
My only question on that one, I didn't see anything in there from the contract deputy.
I didn't get a reply from him.
Okay. I would make a motion to approve.
And this is their annual one.
Renewal,
Second, Dwayne?
second. Yeah.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carries 3-1.
3-0.
Oh, 3-0, sorry. 3-1, there's only 3 of us.
3 and 1
There's
is
4 of
3.
us at the table.
3 and 1 is 3.
Special town meeting. I guess my preference would be let's defer that to the next meeting when we have our 2 brethren here
Yep.
with us and have a further discussion. But at the special town meeting, the first order of business will be to appropriate money to cover the snowplow contract for the ensuing year, correct?
Additional 130,000 from what we budgeted.
So. Anything else? There's no old business. And accept a motion to approve the minutes of the September 22 meeting.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor? Opposed? Pending decisions, we get the comprehensive plan task list. Are we scheduled for the 20th, right?
Right.
Next Tuesday night, right?
Yes. Comp plan implementation, yes.
6:30 or 6?
Shoot, I don't have.
We said 6.
Okay. Yeah, I think it is 6.
Yep, I have 6.
The 6:31 was the other. All right, week's action list. We need to get the language appropriate on the 2 denials. What else do we have for action items?
I believe Road Review Committee meets tomorrow night, so if you get in touch with Scott.
I'll call him in the morning.
All right, agenda items for next meeting. We'll roll over the special town meeting request. See if we can have some, doesn't need to be on the agenda, but we need some concrete
Bid opening.
evidence from the auditor and whether or not there are any issues on our end that need to be.
Is that an agenda item for next week? Or just?
I
a
don't know, I leave
task
it up
for
to Gary. If Gary wants to put it on the agenda, that's fine, but if he wants to cover it in his review, that's fine. And I thought we had a couple of other things.
I have 2 new applicants that you need to meet with, so I've got you starting at 5:30 for 2
Okay.
executive sessions. Is that okay?
Yep.
And that's on the 27th?
Right.
That's 2 weeks from tonight. Anything else? The items needing signature are the hardship abatement denials, the minutes, and the consent agreement, and the Lions game of chance.
Yep.
Okay?
They're coming at you.
The reminders will be scrolled after the meeting. And we are adjourning to a workshop with the Hollis Board of Selectmen. 2 of them, see them here, 3, all 3 of them.